Welcome back to Word to the Mothers. Still to come is wine time, but first, let's rejoin our chat with Dean.
So you blog now as well. So was indie kind of the reason behind the blog?
When I started the blog, I wanted to maybe people to see a slightly different side to me than just the person that they see cooking on TV, but it was always supposed to be a food-orientated blog, how do I get Indy to eat food, just quite fun, friendly, family, sort of inspired.
Yeah.
And then it just seems to have taken a completely different route to that.
You can tell it's cathartic, I can see, and I know how that feels. It's good to blog and to get your emotions out there, and sometimes you will take a turn that you haven't expected to, a road that you haven't expected to go down because you are kind of purging a bit. Now, and one of the things that you'd written about, which I found fascinating, was vitiligo.
Yes.
And it's obviously, it was, the response you had to that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What prompted you to write about it?
It was something that was born out of some of the reactions I get on social media, as and when I've cooked over the years. It will be just stupid throwaway comments that people blatantly hadn't thought about, so it would just
on
be
social media.
On social media most of the time. So it'd be stuff like, oh, the chef's been washing his hands in bleach, he's washed his fake tan off.
No
just
lies.
Flippantly just throw it out there. And it just got me thinking one day, what happens if the person on the other end of that tweet did have a seriously deep, just a complex about, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the vitiligo, it could be anything. We all have hang-ups about our bodies and our own personal lives.
So the thing about it is, those keyboard warriors, they come out the woodwork. I think, how much time have you got on your hands? Where's the vitriol come from, for a start? Why do you feel the need to inflict that kind of hurt?
Do you know what? I don't think a lot of the comments were necessarily personal. I think it's just some people don't engage their brain before they pop out with something. And I genuinely don't think a lot of times that the people that were messaging these things were trying to be horrible about, that was the whole reason I wanted to do it, just to say to people, look, there's enough complex these days, and what really, really worries me, especially having a young daughter, is these social media profiles where people are having to be perfect. And people are really trying to fit in with all these kind of crazy filters, and they're changing themselves and not embracing the things that make us unique. And you can go one of two ways, and a lot of people will shy away from that, and they will try and hide things. And I think I definitely had a moment where I decided I needed to start to embrace the things that made me different. And I'd always covered mine just really for the simple fact it was easier than to have to explain to people
to keep talking
why my hands are white, blah blah blah. And myself and Indy, we were walking along in London one day, and there was a beautiful little girl in a shop window, modelling for Gap, and she must have had 80% coverage vitiligo all over her body, and she's about 12 years old. And Indy said to me, "Dad, that's what you've got, and why do you hide yours?" And I've gone, actually,
out of the mouths of babes.
Why am I? If that little girl's brave enough to do it, then it's up to me. And then, do you know what? That was the moment I decided to blog about the vitiligo. And it's not just myself. There's a lot of people out there, especially supermodel Winnie Harlow. So it's becoming a lot more mainstream. And funnily enough, I've seen a lot of posts on Instagram and everything like that. Almost seems like it's becoming fashionable these days.
Celebrating difference.
Yeah, let's go for it. Exactly, why not?
So Dean Edwards, can we do some quick questions?
Go for it.
Okay. So roast beef, strictly Sundays or midweek marvel?
I love a midweek roast.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you do a midweek roast?
All the time. Do you know what? Roast dinner would be my last meal.
McDonald's, I'm loving it, I'm loathing it, I'm tolerating it to silence the kids in an emergency situation.
I'm a great believer of everything in moderation. If Indy gets invited to a McDonald's party, I'm not going to stand in her way.
That's good, that's healthy.
The one thing I do put my foot down, no fizzy drinks.
So dinner, always at the table or sometimes on your lap?
We do a bit of both.
Chocolate or cheese?
Definitely chocolate. I've got a really, really weak spot for chocolate buttons.
And my last question, finish this sentence. Food is?
Love.
Gotta be, isn't it?
It's got to be.
Dean Edwards, you have been a joy.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Andy.
you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Clemmy, quinoa or chicken nuggets? You want some chicken?
So, Peppa Pig is off, the monitor is on, and the kids are asleep for as long as that lasts. Ruth Wiles of the Clifton Wine School, you have some wine for us this week for wine time.
I do, and actually, I think this might be my favourite wines that we're going to taste here. And they are for date night. They're something special, something that's going to make it worth your while, making a little bit of a fuss about your appearance.
So we tend to have now, since having kids, our date nights on the couch like a lot of parents. It's ever so glamorous, in front of Gogglebox. But and I might shave my legs, or I might not. But I do actually think about the wine I'm going to get. I do actually think about getting something a bit nice, and we will splash a bit of cash, to make the relationship last.
Sure.
So
Something a bit special.
what have you got with that in mind?
Well, given that Sauvignon Blanc is so incredibly popular at the moment, I thought we would go with a Sauvignon Blanc. There's the French Sauvignon Blanc.
Right.
It's a little bit different
Okay.
to your standard styles.
Okay.
And it's from a region we call Sancerre. And it's in the Loire Valley in France. It's cool climate, and it is absolutely the best place for producing Sauvignon Blanc that goes really, really well with food. Really high acidity. If you have a smell.
Oh yeah, you can get it. I don't even have to get
fresh.
in it.
It's fresh.
From here, I can see.
This is the sort of wine that might just, if you drink it on its own, it can sometimes sort of make your eyes twitch a little bit in the corner. It's really high acidity.
Yeah, that's so true. It goes from your eyes to your jaw.
Depending on your sensitivities to it.
It is quite, like, I have to be honest,
Is it a bit much on its own?
on its own. And I think,
Uh-huh.
and a glass, I'm fine. But definitely with cheese. Can you, like a book, judge a bottle of wine by its label?
Winemakers do know certain things about consumers. So they know, for example, that people like a big dimple. That doesn't mean that it's a good wine. You can put any wine in a bottle with a big dimple. In order to know if it's going to be a good bottle of wine, you have to really know where it's coming from, what you would expect to be paying for that, and what you are paying.
So what have you got next for us then, Ruth?
So not everyone thinks of South America when they think of really special, high quality wines. Most of the time people think really good value for money. But actually, and it's particularly true of Argentina, you get some really high quality wines at actually reasonable, affordable prices. So this is a £12 bottle of wine.
£12. I would be shaving my legs for this, I think.
But the quality of this wine is equivalent, I would say, to if you're buying most European wines, certainly from a well-known region in France, for example.
Just smelling that, say a word native to where I live, it's lush. That is, oh, lovely.
And this is actually the perfect wine to go with steak. So in Argentina, I have been told, I've never been, I want to go to Argentina, but I have been told that they drink a lot of Malbec and they eat a lot of steak.
Me and my other half for our date night do love steak.
There you go.
Do love steak, and I love a good red with it.
A good weighty red. And it's got quite a lot of flavour, it packs a punch. If you ever taste, it's really nice, it's really fresh, but it's also weighty, it's sort of powerful and intense.
It's lovely.
And it you just continue just to taste it, and you can savour it, and it's lovely.
That's good. Okay, so what else is there?
So the next one is actually really quite special. So we're pretty much doubling the price point here. We're going up to the £20 plus level.
Wow.
But it is date night, so it's something very special.
But that kind of price, that'll be my armpits as well, getting
Shave
shaved.
everything.
Yes.
So it's a Saint-Emilion Grand Cru. The Grand Cru, if you see that on a label, that's on a French wine label in particular, that is telling you that it's from one of the best producers of wine in that area. When you produce it in the best place in the world for it, you're producing grapes that have much more intensity, much higher levels of flavour, much more complexity. If you have a smell, it's not just about fruit. You're smelling like, often people, I'm going to potentially sounds a little bit pretentious, but like tobacco and like
no, it's
pencil
not,
shaving.
Definitely, that's not pretentious. I can definitely get some smokiness.
And smokiness and
Bit
sometimes
peanut.
leather and loads of different
Yeah.
aromas, and that's coming from the fact that this is, you know, one of the world's best Merlots that you can drink.
That is lovely.
It's also an amazing place to visit. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Saint-Emilion area in Bordeaux, and it's really well worth a visit if you're ever around that part of the world.
Thank you. You spoil us, you do. You know how to treat a mum, you do.
I do.
You're a mum's best mate. Am I drunk? Thank you for joining us this week. There'll be more next week. See you then.